Hey troops, it's Roy from Geeks Adventures. Woohoo! So last night I did a review of the Walgreens exclusive Marvel Legends Quasar figure, and I kind of drooled and went, oh, precious, because it completed what I was calling the Annihilation set for me. And I'm at now. There's some of you, toy collector. Well, no, some of you, even toy collectors, might panic a little bit. Richard Ryder fans might have been going, yes, you did it, man. You the man. You the man. Fans who have read my other reviews are going, oh, thank God he finally did it. Now he'll calm down. And probably a large percentage of you went, what? What? Is there another movie? Is this like a Disney Plus thing? What did I miss? No! And toy collectors are going, what did they do now? Are they sneaking in another set? I mean, is this another thing that's going to wait until 2022? Is this a HasLab thing? What toy set thing am I missing? No! No. Breathe. It's okay. This set is just a bunch of the key characters from the Annihilation story arc and one of the ancillary story arcs that Marvel published quite a while ago, actually. So this is just my little ramble and just a brief primer, toy and comic stuff about my Marvel Legends Annihilation set. And that's why I put quotes in set, because technically there is no set. Okay, there is no sets for the figures. It's just a bunch of the pieces I put together. So now you're wondering, all right, so what's going on? Okay, so years ago, Annihilation was a massive, gymongous size story arc that Marvel published, introducing a lot of their secondary space heroes. Richard Ryder, Peter Quill, guys like Quasar, Ronan the Accuser. I mean, names you recognize, but it's not like you're talking about Galactus or you're talking about Thor. These are secondary characters, but they all happen to be, out in space. And what ends up happening is that a supervillain decides to invade our universe. Annihilus! This is, by the way, the Marvel Legends Build-A-Figure from a long time ago. He's kind of precious, especially since I'm Richard Ryder Nova now. You'll get it in a second. So he comes in with his giant bulk-filled armada to take over the universe. Nihilus is originally a villain from the Fantastic Four from way back in the day in the Negative Zone. Bug guy, yada yada yada, who unfortunately never caught on, so he just kind of faded away in a lot of ways. So that's why he's all disgruntled and going, I'm going to make you remember me and take over your universe. With billions and billions of giant ships and yada yada yada. I wasn't kidding. This was pretty dang epic. Now you're wondering, is this gonna come into, well, put it this way, Fantastic Four movies coming up at some point. There's been talk of the multiverse. He's from the Negative Zone, another universe. So we'll see. So anyway, he comes in to invade. The Nova Corps goes in to basically take him on, and there's a giant intergalactic war with all sorts of, basically the varied races within the Marvel universe. If I'm smart, I talked about this a couple of years ago because Annihilation was rumored to be the title of the final Avengers film. So I put up my theory about what it could be and yada yada yada, and mentioned the actual Annihilation storyline. So I'm hopefully smart and put the link in the description below of that podcast I did years ago. So of course, heroes win. Yeah! Oh, by the way, Thanos is also involved in this. But of course, you can't keep a good villain down. So down the road, they created the Thanos Imperative. Why? Because it's Thanos. He's a hot villain, yada, yada, yada. And what ends up happening is that in this, Richard Ryder is still one of the fun things is that because of the Annihilation story arc, Richard is the last surviving member of the Nova Corps. The Nova Corps were obliterated and were one of the last bastions of protection and as a military force in the galaxy, and they got wasted. It was harsh. He's the last surviving one, and basically ended up gathering all these forces together to take on the Annihilation Wave and Nihilus. Big, well, okay, it wasn't a big epic fight. It could have been, but it's implied in the last story. Big fight, big fight. Anyway, so in the story, Thanos comes back because that's what he does. And Richard Ryder decides to gather a force, a special strike force, basically Intergalactic SEAL Team 6, to take on some big mission, yada, yada, yada. So he gathers together major heavy hitters from this side: Quasar, Beta Ray Bill, Gladiator, Silver Surfer, and Ronan the Accuser. Yes, he's a good guy in the comics, okay? And they go in, big fight. And down the road later, after this story arc, this team of superpowered beings gathers again because, hey, potential for more money. Publishing another miniseries. They become part of what they call themselves the Annihilators. The Annihilators miniseries, which lasts for only one. Anyway, so decided, because I love these story arcs, to make my own Annihilation set. So what does this look like? And here they are in all their plastic Marvel Legends scale glory. Let's see here. From the front here, these folks here are the members of the strike team from the Thanos Imperative. So you've got Gladiator, you've got Beta Ray Bill, you've got Quasar, Ronan the Accuser, and we've got the Silver Surfer back here. And you're looking at all these figures and going, wait a minute, they're all different styles. Yes, they are. It would be nice to have a consistent, all Marvel Legends look or all MCU look, but it wouldn't work. And some of these are really hard to get. Like Ronan the Accuser, this is the MCU version. There is a Marvel Legends version. It's a Build-A-Figure. It's $200. I'm not getting that. So yeah, it's crossing streams all over the place. So let's see, Gladiator. There are two versions, if memory serves. There's one that was a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive with, I think, Blastar or somebody. Anyway, then they got smart and released another one that was part of a X-Men Build-A-Figure line or something like that. So that's him. Beta Ray Bill's from a recent line. And actually this, now Silver Surfer, this is an old school. I believe this is a Toy Biz. Yeah, I think it is a Toy Biz Silver Surfer because the stand is from those old school figures when they used to create these really cool stands for their figures. So these are guys, and there are also many of these characters, like Quasar, Ronan the Accuser, and Silver Surfer. They're actually also major players in, well, okay, no, Quasar not so much, because, well, things happen to Quasar in Annihilation that are spoilers, so I'm going to stay away from that, but he comes back. But yeah, actually, Ronan the Accuser, he ends up being Richard Ryder's one of his major military advisors because he's Kree. They know military. And Silver Surfer because, well, he's a Silver Surfer, duh. And also, one of the only things that is not a godlike being that Galactus will pay attention to. And in the back, the close circle for Richard Ryder. That was always the amazing thing, is that these disparate characters ended up being a core for Richard to be advisors and to kind of keep him sane during the war. The Richard Ryder this is from the Marvel Legends set that we got grew from. Then, of course, you got the MCU version of Drax, MCU version of Star-Lord, Peter Quill. And this is a Marvel Select Gamora. Because, well, there are multiple versions, of course. There's the MCU, two MCU versions. There's also a San Diego Comic-Con version that is more like old school comic book accurate. That is $100. So no. And I kind of like this one because you got a version of the God Blade, which looks really cool and massive. And unfortunately, you don't see it in this pic, but she's got a giant laser rifle. I could have sworn she came packed with other weapons too that I'm looking for right now. So, and the way these characters ended up coming together, Drax was introduced as part of. He ends up being brought in through really long and complicated circumstances into the Annihilation Wave story arc. He ends up teaching Richard how to become the Nova Corps in the story arc is kind of like a police force, and Drax teaches him how to be a soldier. Richard's accustomed to kind of putting out little fires and stuff like that. I mean, he's still. It's funny in the story when he was originally introduced in the 80s, he was a kid, he's the umpteenth high school kid brought in as a superhero. By the time this is happening, decades later, we're talking comic book time here. So, we're looking like mid-20s. So, he's still adjusting. He's never been the guy. He was always with other heroes. And, the fun part for me in Richard Ryder's story, and which is why I've gravitated to him so much, is watching his character grow, from this guy who's just trying to kind of figure his stuff out, to being a leader for all of these characters, for a giant army to take on this destructive, force of nature that's obliterating everything. And Drax would teach him that. Peter and Gamora, it's fun because they just show up in the first issue of the Annihilation Wave. Annihilation Wave's miniseries. Peter has become Richard's second, his best friend, primary advisor. It's one of those fun off-screen moments. We don't know where Peter came from. We don't know why they end up hooking up, but there is this beautiful Butch and Sundance, Riggs and Murtaugh, this great Natasha and Steve Rogers kind of vibe between the two of them. It's fun to watch, and honestly, I miss that because some of the later arcs, unfortunately, Peter is on his own with the Guardians of the Galaxy, with the comic book version of Guardians of the Galaxy, and I really miss that because their interplay was fun. Gamora also just kind of shows up out of nowhere. She's introducing some of the other ancillary story arcs for Annihilation Wave. She and Richard hook up. And the ironic thing is, Gamora is the most dangerous woman. She's the most dangerous woman in the universe. She's basically also the unofficial bodyguard. And at one point, they're trying to vet this character that they're not too sure who they are. And Peter just goes to Richard just goes to Gamora and goes, "You got this." And she goes, "She breathes wrong, I will kill her." And Peter's like, "I'm fine with that." So yeah, this is them. Years, because you're looking at this timeline here, and I think you're beginning to realize, holy cow, you really have been working at this for a while. Yeah, this is no joke. I need to do a write-up actually about Richard Ryder's Nova, because even this figure is also decades in waiting and being patient. But yeah, this is it. In all of its really kind of bizarre Marvel Legends glory. Now there's still all this talk about doing a Richard Ryder or a Nova movie for MCU because, hey, it's money. So we'll see. Anyway, that's it. I'm going to stop because I could probably do like a 3-hour presentation about this. And after about 15 minutes, you're going to go, oh God, I got to stop. I can't take this anymore. Anyway, hey, y'all take care. Have a good rest of the weekend. May the force be with you. May the odds be in your favor, especially when you're action figure hunting. And as always, be good to each other, K-peeps, please. Peace. Bye. Post-credit scene. I mentioned something about doing the big fight between Nihilus and Richard Ryder in the end of the Annihilation story arc. This is I'm cheating again and using the McFarlane toy stand because it looks really cool. It really does look cool. So yeah, they had a big fight. whoosh, pew 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 rah, pew 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 rah. It was one of those cool fights that unfortunately was only like maybe like what 2 pages long, lots of panels, but it was so cool. Pew 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 pew. All right, post credit scene done. Big fight. Bye.